We have just received an approval from the Mines Ministry of Zambia. This is, the rubber stamp, if you will, on our renewal of the license that covers our Kazhiba target. And of course, the Kazhiba target falls under our cooperative exploration plan with First Quantum. It's a key part of our twofold attack moving forward.
All right, welcome back inside our proactive newsroom. And joining me now is Adrian O'Brien. He is the Director of Marketing and Communications for Midnight Sun Mining. And Adrian, good to see you again. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's an absolute pleasure as always, Steve.
Yeah, good to have you along. And exciting news out from the company about license renewal for your Kazhiba target. And this is really only the end of the line of what has been a very long story. So let's take a step back, Adrian. Just bring everyone up to date on where you're at.
So we have just received an approval from the Mines Ministry of Zambia. This is, the rubber stamp, if you will, on our renewal of the license that covers our Kazhiba target. And of course, the Kazhiba target falls under our cooperative exploration plan with First Quantum. It's a key part of our twofold attack moving forward. And we've been kind of stuck for a little bit here because we've been waiting for this approval to come through. It took a lot longer than expected. There wasn't a license issue that took place back at the end of the summer where, some kind of a clerical error took place. The license was shown as being rejected or not being in our name. Of course, that started a whole process of rectifying that situation. The Zambian ministry was great. Everybody involved did a great job. But as I'm sure you can understand, a stressful situation and, obviously wanting to get this rectified as quickly as possible. And the initial part of that was very quick. But then we had a lot of waiting to do, and that waiting has come to an end right in time for Christmas.
Yeah. So explain to us now with this license in hand, what will sort of be the next steps over the next, 3 to 6 months?
For sure. So given that this is part of this First Quantum cooperative exploration plan, we have two targets. We have Kazhiba and Mitu. Kazhiba up to the northwest of our property, Mitu to the southwest of our property. Both areas have large concentrations of oxide copper at surface that we've intercepted in drilling. And so the plan has been to get out on those two properties and do the requisite work needed to find a resource, prove up a resource, do all of that initial exploration work. We know the material is there, but we don't know what the quantity is. And so, we wanted to initiate that. We did initiate that. We launched a program back in the fall, and now it's a case of having that license in hand, having the renewal in hand. We can complete that program. We can get news out. We expect to have some assays fairly shortly. So things are about to get really exciting.
Yeah, and there's also an opportunity here for some near-term production, as you mentioned, but also some cash flow as well. And maybe you can talk about that part of it.
Yeah, for sure. So just to kind of recap on what this is all about, Kansanshi, which is First Quantum's flagship asset in Zambia, it is the largest copper mining complex in Africa today, is located about 6 kilometers away from our property. It is literally next door. And that mine has been in operation for 20 years. It's been an incredible operation for First Quantum. But you have to look at what First Quantum's gone through in the last year. They lost Cobre Panama, which was 5% of the world's copper production. That was nationalized, which has been a really big story and certainly a very frustrating situation for First Quantum to deal with. But that's caused them to refocus at Kansanshi. And Kansanshi has 3 circuits. They have a sulfide circuit, they have a mixed ore circuit, and they have an oxide circuit, or what's known as an SXEW. They also have a smelter on site. And their smelter produces a byproduct of sulfuric acid in a large quantity. It's actually like 1.3 million tons a year. And it needs to be dealt with in situ. It's an environmental liability. And so what they do is they heap leach copper oxides with their free sulfuric acid to neutralize the acid and get rid of it. And in turn, that liberates the copper in the oxides, which they can sell and make a lot of money, somewhere in the range of 250 to 400 million a year on. So they've been doing that for 20 years. And this past year, they completely depleted their supply. So the only supply in the area is the property next door, which is owned by Midnight Sun. And now we're going to those areas of high concentration, and we're going to try and solve First Quantum's issue for them for the next 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Also, one last thing, Adrian, you talked about the news release that yourselves and Kobold Mining have agreed to amend your earning agreement. Just give me a quick update on that.
Yeah, what we've done is just taken the long stop component out, this final condition precedent, we had to keep amending the long stop date in order to give us time to get this environmental permit that we're looking for, the EPB. And we've just gotten to the point where we said, let's stop worrying about that date and stop having to do renewals of it. Let's just give it the requisite amount of time it needs without having to keep going back and extending that. So very much a byline in the whole process. We're excited to get to the field with them. That's looking like it'll be after the rainy season is over. So sometime in March or April, we'll get out and start some very aggressive drilling on a very big sulfide target. So.
Well, it's exciting times ahead for sure. Congratulations on finally getting this all solved, and looks going to be an exciting 2025 for sure. Adrian, thanks so much for the update. Appreciate it.
Really appreciate it, Steve. Thanks.
All right, Adrian O'Brien. He's the Director of Marketing and Communications from Midnight Sun.